So John is fighting cancer. You know, he fought the war. He's a hero.
I don't know about that.
For me.
I fought with a lot of them, but I don't know if I'm a hero.
Well, you made it. And now we're going to make it through cancer, right?
I'm trying.
We are making it. What do you mean you're trying?
Well, you got to try before you can make it.
We're making it. You know. There is no trying. We're making it because we.
Well, the only failing is the failing to try. So you know that's.
See, that's John. That's what I know. There's only failings failing to try.
Right.
So, and we don't partake in on that. So we're making it.
Yeah, we're making it.
So what is the plan? Traditional chemo first and radiation?
Well, we've been doing traditional chemo for 5 weeks, and then of course radiation for at least 6.5. So I still have about a week and a half to go because of the holidays and all that. And as you can see, got a little redness right under there.
Oh, that's burned from radiation. It's very painful, huh?
Yeah, it's like.
Can you put Silvadene? Can you put any burning?
No, it deflects the radiation.
So just so you know, we can't.
I use some Equate skin cream, but you have to wash that off too beforehand because any kind of barrier will deflect the radiation. It won't be effective. Not to the point where I'll need it, you know. So I wear the mask because my chemotherapy reduced my white blood cells to really low rate.
Like in the ones.
You know, being a nurse, I'm kind of concerned about that, but I'm also concerned that I have hypercoagulation syndrome, which is formed blood clots.
What does it mean, hypercoagulation? Explain to them. When you do chemo.
When you do chemo. Your body, in an effort to fight it, forms clots in your veins to keep it from entering into your system. The body, it's like a progressive loop where the body's trying to save itself, but actually it ends up being a negative consequence. So basically, that's been happening quite a bit to me. So we had to go on some blood thinners, and then we had a little relapse with that because we had a little episode of hemorrhage in the rectal area because of the hemorrhoid. So we kind of spent Christmas Eve in the ER.
The chemo, which is the traditional treatment, and radiation. John, which he has throat cancer, squamous cell.
And lymphatic.
And lymphatic.
In the neck. Only.
Yes, thank you. He became, one of the symptoms with or side effects of his treatment is constipation. And then already having hemorrhoids. While he was pushing through it, and I know it seems to be a lot of information, but if you're going through chemo, it's something that you'd like to know the information. Then he had one of a bleeder.
I'm so happy I have a mask on because I'm embarrassed.
Oh, you're embarrassed. You're never embarrassed. We're helping, right? You're really embarrassed.
For the people that don't know me, they don't know what I look like.
Okay, that's good. Maybe that's helpful. But anyways, this is John, okay? So you would know, this is John, my friend.
Yes.
Anyway, so he had constipation, and then he had all this bleeding. So what is all this bleeding? Tell them so they can know how much blood is a lot of blood.
Oh, well, I had 200 cc's, about that much.
200, so this is 500. So let's a little less than half of this bottle of blood with the constipation. So you want to take a laxative medication when you're going through this process and do not push hard because you can bleed. And it doesn't help, especially because you're,
blood thinners,
bleeding. John, Isa, we're talking about cancer treatment, and attitude, right?
Yeah, attitude's a big thing. But I will tell you, this will knock you to your knees.
It's harder than war?
Well, I'll tell you, I'd rather be in a firefight than do this every day. But it seems like my life transitioned from being dependent, and doing what I wanted to do, and having the strength to, get out there. And then all of a sudden I live at the hospital. If it's one thing, it's another. And there's so many procedures and so many things you have to check. And it just changes every aspect of your life. Every one of them,
Weakness, weight loss, constipation, discomfort from the burn, from the treatment, nausea.
Swallowing.
Difficult
dizziness at times, electrolyte loss. You have to make sure that you're staying on your electrolytes. When my sodium goes down, I get dizzy as hell because the osmolality in my body is, thrown off. And it just, being a nurse is sometimes it's a gift or it's a curse.
I know.
And, going through this stuff, sometimes you want to know more than the doctor, or you want you think too much about what could happen, you know. And also, one of the major things I think is that you have to become your own advocate, because nobody's going to do it for you, guaranteed. You know, your nurses might do it, but the doctors, they're more in line with treating the disease and not the person. So they kind of look at the disease more prevalently than the person itself, whereas nursing staff, the opposite. They're trying to treat the person collectively, or holistically, but it's difficult, to be a nurse and be a patient.
Yes, so it's hard, right, John, to know that we need the combination. We need to treat the disease and integrate with treating the patient as a human being, respecting their beliefs, their boundaries, agreeing with the fact that we would disagree with our patients, and overall respecting everything. I love your positive attitude, to be fighting this, to have to seek for the positive energy together.
It's not always there, folks. I'm going to tell you right now. There's days where, you know what, you just wonder why you keep doing it, especially when I was sent Christmas Eve in the ER, looking up at the ceiling thinking, I'm hoping I'm going to stop bleeding,
Yes, it gets hard then, huh? Is it important prevention? Because some cancers we cannot predict.
No.
Okay, we cannot prevent. We cannot predict.
Predict any cancer.
We cannot. Well,
the human body's different, everybody. I mean, some people don't develop cancer, and then some people do. I think it's
not smoking, not eating. There's things that you can do to help.
Well, I think, I can tell you what maybe contributed to this. Okay?
What?
There was a period of time where I never ate sugar at all. I just didn't use it in my coffee. I used it in my coffee. That was about it. But then, for about a year, I started eating a lot of sugar, a lot. I gained like 25 pounds, and all of a sudden, I'm diagnosed with cancer. And cancer, what feeds off of sugar? So basically, I think that change, that sudden change with other aspects of,
the type of cancer.
Right.
So we can see that the cancer fad, was it fair to say that? Because you gain 25 pounds, you start eating a lot of sugars, you have your farm, you start making those jam, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So that contribute to the growing of the cancer. But the type of cancer that you have was squamous cell carcinoma for HPV. Let's go over that. How is it preventable? Because for us women, when a woman has HPV and we do a PAP, we can detect that, right? So you can actually treat faster than someone or men that develop or get HPV in their throat or oral cavity. And why does that happen? Okay. Do you want to say, or I have to say what that is?
I'm glad I have a mask on.
Okay.
Well, it happens in relation to sexual relationships.
Sexual relationships, absolutely.
And we don't have to go into detail on it because most people can understand, what that might mean.
Some people might understand or not, but
whether they do or not, we're not good.
We're not. So we want to be very respectful and mindful, but you can protect yourself. So you should protect yourself, especially guys. I have a son and I worry about it and talk about it so openly. But you can do that too. Well, men and women, right?
The thing is, if you have a provider such as this one here,
I will talk to you to your face.
Right.
Yes.
You can talk to them more specifically about this because, if you, and I want to tell you a couple of the symptoms I had. Okay.
Yes.
One of them was a cramping in my throat on one side. It felt like my Adam's apple was out of whack. And I would adjust it and it would go away. And then I started having a little bit of difficulty swallowing on one side only, like down the side of my throat. And then I started to get numb on one narrow aspect of my tongue, on the side where I was having the cramping and having that. And I thought it was kind of weird. So what I did was I contacted my healthcare provider, and I told him about my symptoms. And he said, you know what? It sounds like you just have a sore throat. And so one of the things about diagnosis is being a little bit sometimes forceful when you have symptoms you don't understand, and asking them to go beyond their ideology of it's a very simple problem. So what I did was I asked him to do a test, and he did a CT scan, and he found a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter mass in my throat. And then they did a little scope, and they came up with it being.
They needed a biopsy.
It
was suspicious. It was suspicious.
They didn't really take the biopsy from here. They took it from my lymph nodes, because then in the CT scan, they saw that my lymph nodes were swollen. So they did a biopsy of that and equated that to the squamous cell carcinoma in my throat, which jumped to my lymph nodes, which is kind of dangerous because when cancer moves, it can be classified as a stage 2. But in the staging of my biopsy, it was a stage 1.
Which is a blessing. But so one, HPV can happen not only in the cervix, it can happen in the throat, it can happen in the behind your anus area. So one, that's awareness. 2, to have knowledge of what could happen. So if you know that there is a symptom that you're not, we've all had sore throats. We go, okay, that you feel it's a little bit more, go with your gut feeling. Ask your provider, no, I need additional testing. There's nothing wrong with knowing more or being cautious. So just like John, he had a suspicion and said, no, I don't think it's just a sore throat. I want more. We have to advocate for ourselves. Because a lot of times, and I'm going to say in hospice, bring it back to hospice, I have patients that unfortunately say, oh, I went to ED, to emergency department 5 times, and they gave me pain medication. And then when they find out, and they're super young, which is more heartbreaking, it's too late. So no, if you're going repeatedly for the same problem, ask for additional testing, right? That's what you said about speaking for yourself.
I didn't just see one provider. So at first, I was convinced because I had a lot of discharge in my nasal area, because I have stymitis and rhinitis too. I thought that maybe I had a sebaceous gland underneath my jawline, because I had pain in my ear, right? And one of the lymph nodes under my ear was swollen. But I thought it was just a glandular problem with a salivary gland problem. My doctor almost agreed with me, because he was pushing in my throat and saying, he said, oh, does it hurt? And I said, yeah. So he gave me some antiviral medication. And the first day when I took it, man, it felt better. But remember, HPV is a virus. So basically, but it doesn't respond to antiviral medication, because now it's become cancerous. It's malformation of the cell. So basically, that didn't work. So, but I was persistent about it. So I seen my other provider in the VA and asked him for the CT. And, he did it. And, what was on that mass, and that was it. The one indicator I think that was the most bizarre symptom was the numb tongue on one strip. If it had been something else where my tongue was numb or swollen, it could have been a reaction to medicine or a reaction to something else, but it wasn't. Just one strip on the right side. And you got to go with your gut. Like,
go with your gut. There's so much. Sometimes I see a patient too, and they have so much to tell if we only take the time. I know in the hospitals, in some settings, we don't have the opportunity to spend much time with the patient, but I just hear the family member, hear the patient over and over, because their story tells much more than sometimes just a physical examination can tell.
And don't be afraid if you don't have a lot of medical knowledge, okay? I do. Izzy does. She has more than I do. She's smart as hell. But thing is, if you trust your gut, something's wrong, and you go and you're persistent, and don't let them tell you that it's nothing.
Yes.
Now, it may turn out to be nothing, but I would much rather piss my doctor off than listen to him and get pissed off later because I listened to him. You know what I mean? And doctors aren't perfect. They're great. And they have a very high educational knowledge base, which is fantastic. But if you think something's really wrong, you got to pursue it. You know what I mean? And you don't give up with that. And, for me, that's what I did with this. And I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. You have to continue. It is a fight. It's a battle. It's a battle. It's a battle for each and every one of us to fight for your health. and to advocate for yourself, especially when you don't feel good. But have someone that you trust, right? That can help.
Yeah, but you know, one thing I think is even better is if you take steps to prevent this. If you
Yes,
take steps to prevent this kind of cancer, because this cancer it's curable.
preventable and curable
But
if it's caught early.
let me just tell you something. The treatment for this, it's difficult. It's not easy at all. And you know what? As I showed you, my neck's all burned. I have sores in my mouth. I have sores in my throat.
And I'm so sorry
Difficult
for that.
swallowing. You know, my electrolyte balance is up and down. My white blood cell count right now is 1.2, which is very low. Almost to the point where I'm going to have to go into reverse precautionary measures, you know, where I can't go anywhere. I can't see anybody. And, you know, because I can't get sick because my body's not fighting anything. The chemotherapy has shut down everything. And so I haven't had chemo in 2 weeks, and hopefully I'm done with that. You know, and I think what's going to happen now is we're going to continue with the radiation until we can get to a point where we can get done with the radiation. The radiation is the primary intervention.
And then we believe in a lot of medicine that is outside the scope of traditional medicine. And we're going to pursue that too. There is nothing wrong with combining therapy to each their time, in a time frame, and however your patient feels comfortable. But yes, our take on it is that if you can prevent cancer, if you can by, the regular things that you can do, not smoking, taking care of your health, eating healthy, avoiding sugar, all that stuff, do it. Because it's not only hard for John to be going through this, but us or each and every person that you love to watch you go through this, to see the changes, Helping is the easy part because helping is a blessing. When you help someone, you feel amazing, right? You are helping someone. How much better can it that you are able to when you are?
It's also really hard for a guy like me. I mean,
to accept the
I'm
help.
a Marine. You know, I mean, I was deadlifting 400 pounds before I got sick, and I was strong as a beast. And, doing the farm every day. I mean, I never watched TV at all. I think I've seen every dang episode on Netflix in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I never saw as much TV as I have. And it's really hard at times when when you have that masculinity thing. It's really hard to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's really hard to ask for help, and it doesn't matter who it is. It's not because you don't want their help. It's because you don't want them to see you. I lost 50 pounds.
Yes.
I mean, I used to be able to lift a car,
And luckily, you caught it on stage 1, which is another blessing.
Imagine if it was.
Imagine if you didn't pursue talking to another doctor or provider.
Right.
So, yes, you can say, I have my insurance, I'm tired. Find an outside provider. It's okay. It's okay to disagree, and it's okay to ask for a second opinion.
Owe money. It's better to owe money for your life, guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're worried about money, you just go anyway.
Go anyway. I agree. Go anyway.
Yeah. And you know what? If you can, you can always find a nurse practitioner that's willing to help you.
Exactly. Absolutely.
There's
always room.
Give you guidance. Because there's plenty of places out there that take people without insurance. There's plenty of places out there that take people who need help.
Pro bono.
And pro bono. She's a fantastic nurse practitioner. Okay?
Why are you even saying that?
And I'm saying it because some people may have other issues besides this.
Besides cancer.
If you want to reach out to talk to somebody who's very, very professional and also very human, this is your girl.
My heart is everything. Yeah.
She's got
it's bigger than my face, huh?
It's bigger than your brain, but your brain's pretty big, so,
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't think her heart would be that big, but it is.
Yeah.
I've known her for a long time. Yeah.
So stay tuned. Let's see how we can help and empower each other.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay, I agree.
Yes. Much love.
Ciao.
Ciao.